By far, this is the wildest synopsis I've ever read for a film, to the point that it was a no-brainer I had to check it out, and I had a really good time with it. So folks, let's jump into my review of the new film, Some Like It Rare. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel today for another review. And today we're going to be reviewing the film Some Like It Rare, or also known as Barbaque, which made its North American premiere this year at Fantastic Fest 2021. Now this film synopsis is so crazy. Like, once I pretty much read it, I'm gonna kind of sum it up some. You're gonna also agree, like, oh, this film is going to be nuts. And I just did not know what I was getting myself into. I knew it was going to be crazy. I knew it was going to be a fun time, but wow, it was totally a treat, to say the least here. So here's how I lay this down. You have Sophie and Vincent. They're known as the Butchers of Melun, which is a town in France. And they've been running a family-owned butcher shop for over 10 years. And, Vincent is really passionate about his butcher shop. Like, it's going good, but at a point, he's starting to lose clients. People are turning vegan, so business isn't exactly what it used to be. Not to mention that Sophie is thinking about leaving him, so he's under a lot of stress. And then to make matters worse, his shop is vandalized by a group of vegans, so he's just going through a lot. Nonetheless, one day Sophie and Vincent, they decide to go take a drive, and then he spots one of the persons who vandalized his shop, and he purposely runs them over, kills them, straight up murder. But coincidentally, he happens to have a skill that aids him in this. He happens to be a butcher, which means that he knows how to chop meat up and dispose body. But as he's done that, as he decided to dispose of this body in a very unconventional way, his shop starts to get business all over again, because everybody is swarming for that new special ham that he's serving. So now that Vincent has a new supply and fame, now they gotta figure out a way to keep people coming, because his special ingredients, how do you supply that? So that is the premise of this film. That's what's happening in this film. It's nuts, right? It's a black comedy, so like in watching this film, it made me feel like it gave me like feels like I did when I watched the film The Hunt. Which means, good gore, a very bizarre plot, performances were very solid and very much catering to everything that's going on around it. I mean, Sophie and Vincent, they're actors, they work really well together, and they kept you entertained the entire time. And even like the soundtrack, oddly enough, when I was listening to the soundtrack, one of the songs that kept playing is I'm a Gangster, which is, some whatever song, but I've heard this before, and I've looked it up, and this dude Dion Davis, I've heard his music in plenty of films. I was like, oh, pretty cool. So like I was digging the soundtrack as well too. And overall the film is just crazy, because here's the thing. Think about this now. Vincent and Sophie are a couple that everything was going well until it wasn't. Once money and everything in the business started hurting, and Sophie was like, hey, I'm leaving you. And then they found purpose, because once they committed the murder, they had a secret amongst each other, but they were still fighting a war against the vegans out here, and they're also trying to get down to the bottom of it, of who were all that vandalized the shop, to the point that it turned around to the point that they were finding pleasure in hunting vegans, because vegans happen to be the special ingredient for their new line of meat here. So they will find somebody, murder them, take them back to the shop, butcher them up, and yeah, next thing you know, they got a new slab of meat for sale. And you know, when you think about this film, it's a very bizarre mixture of like cannibalism, but then like horror, and like then it's kind of like a thriller as well too. Like you're getting a lot, and then it's then you got rom-com aspects to it as well too. So like it worked. Whatever this film wanted to do, it knew what it wanted to do, and it worked. I felt like whatever it wanted to do in every scene, whether it wanted to make you laugh, whether it wanted to make you scared, because even when it started to get down to the gore and then slicing up of the body, it was good. But then you had like, you know, other little scenes that were kind of funny, like you had their dog eating scraps, you know, you had like brutal kills, you had very good banter between your two leads. Like I feel like whatever way you look with this film, it would just work for me. This is a film, it is spoken in French, which didn't take away from it at all. I enjoyed it just as much. And I'll be honest, I would still be very interested to see the dub version of this as well too. But either way, however you look at it, it was fun. I just had I had a really good time with just how silly it was, but how brutal it could have been, how funny it was. And then obviously, because this is war between folks who eat meat and folks who are opposed to people who eat meat, and vegans, and people flip-flopping, you know, ones who were pro-meat and then they were just like, oh, that's not right, and then they went pro-vegan and vice versa. Like this film explores a lot, which if you've ever been in a situation where sometimes regardless of what side you on, it could be tense because people are firm in their beliefs, and the fact that they were able to inject that into this film and build a story around it, I enjoyed it, man. This was a good time. So I can't stress enough, folks. You got to check out Some Like It Rare. The title is even funny as well too. This was a very entertaining film. Totally let me know if you checked it out already, and if you haven't, when you do, come back in the comments and let me know your thoughts about it. And hopefully you're subscribed so you can stay tuned for more movie reviews very soon. Thank you for watching, folks.